the gin joints in all the towns in all the world. She walks into mine.
That's from this movie. I know that line. I know that line. I didn't know it was from this movie, guys. I didn't know it was from this movie. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are checking out Casablanca. I don't know much about Casablanca other than it is a romance. I don't know if it's like a subgenre of like comedy romance or anything like that. Or romantic comedy is what I meant to say, but or anything like that. But I do recognize the two main actors' names, and that would be Humphrey Bogart and the lead actress. I just had her name, but I lost it. Ingrid Bergman. Apparently, she is Swedish. I don't know anything about these two actors, to be honest with you. I just know their names. Other than that, I don't really know much about actors or the movie in general, or have any kind of references to what this movie is going to be about. But with all that said, guys, let's go ahead and just hop right into it since I don't have much to say about Casablanca.
With the coming of the Second World War, many eyes in imprisoned Europe turned hopefully or desperately toward the freedom of the Americas. But not everybody could get to Lisbon directly, and so a tortuous roundabout refugee trail sprang up.
Is this about war?
To Casablanca in French Morocco. Here, the fortunate ones, through money or influence or luck, might obtain exit visas and scurry to Lisbon, and from Lisbon to the New World.
I didn't know that Casablanca was in France.
Two German couriers carrying important official documents murdered on train from Oran. Murderer and possible accomplices headed for Casablanca.
These papers expired 3 weeks ago. You'll have to come along.
Halt! Halt!
Perhaps tomorrow we'll be on the plane.
Could make me be and even be glad just to be sad. Thinking of.
I do like that follow-in from the camera.
Too bad about those two German couriers, wasn't it?
They got a lucky break. Yesterday, they were just two German clerks. Today, they're honored dead.
You're a very cynical person, Ricky. If you forgive me for saying so.
I forgive you.
Thank you. Will you have a drink with me, please?
No.
Oh,
He is kind of cynical, to be honest.
Oh, you object to the kind of business I do, huh? But think of all those poor refugees who must rot in this place if I didn't help them. Provide them with exit visas.
For a price, Ugarte. For a price.
Letters of transit signed by General Degon cannot be rescinded, not even questioned.
It is so rare to be able to leave Casablanca that
Please keep them for me. Thank you. I knew I could trust you.
they are basically like a prize to, or very rare to get passports out of Casablanca.
The plane to Lisbon. You would like to be on it?
Fair point.
We're going to make an arrest in your cafe.
I stick my neck out for nobody.
A wise foreign policy.
That in every single scene, we're learning something new. He owns the thing. He can't return to America. We know that he has a combination of all three reasons of why not to not to return to America?
Rick, there are many exit visas sold in this cafe, but we know that you've never sold one. That is the reason we permit you to remain open. There is a man arrived in Casablanca on his way to America. He will offer a fortune to anyone who'll furnish him with an exit visa.
Well, what's his name?
Victor Laszlo.
It'll be interesting to see how he manages.
Manages what?
His escape? 20,000 francs. Says it isn't.
Is that a serious offer?
I just paid out 20. I'd like to get it back.
Make it 10. I'm only a poor, corrupt official. In 1935, you ran guns to Ethiopia. In 1936, you fought in Spain on the loyalist side.
And got well paid for it on both occasions.
The winning side would have paid you much better.
Seems like most of the scenes so far, somebody else interrupts to move on to the next scene. And I'm also noticing a lot of camera work as well. As we go from one person, we go back to the next, and the camera moves with that person when that happens.
In a few minutes, you'll see the arrest of the man who murdered your couriers.
I expected no less, Captain.
Monsieur Humphrey,
Oh.
La partie continue.
Yes?
will you please come with us?
Behind me. Do something. You must help me, Rick. Do something. Rick!
I'd stick my neck out for nobody.
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? Unofficially, of course.
Make it official if you like.
What is your nationality?
I'm a drunkard.
And that makes Rick a citizen of the world.
Can you imagine us in London?
When you get there, ask me.
Diplomatist.
I like the way he's answering these questions.
Victor Laszlo published the foulest lies in the Prague newspapers until the very day we marched in, and even after that, he continued to print scandal sheets in his cellar.
I wonder what Victor Laszlo's perspective is in all this, because right now we're getting basically other people's perspective on Victor Laszlo.
And perhaps for the lady, the ring is quite unique.
Oh, yes, I'm very interested. I'll meet you in a few minutes at the bar. But you see, Major Strasser, I'm a Czechoslovakian.
You were Czechoslovakian. Now you are a subject of the German Reich.
I've never accepted that privilege, and I'm now on French soil. Is it your order that we come to your office?
Let us say it is my request. That is a much more pleasant word.
Kind of gave him no choice in the matter, but he wants to be kind of diplomatic about it, I guess, or much more friendly about it.
I'm looking for a man by the name of Bogart. He's supposed to help me.
Bogart cannot even help himself, monsieur. He's under arrest for murder. He was arrested here tonight.
I see.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, Miss Elsa. I never expect to see you again.
It's been a long time.
Yes, ma'am. A lot of water under the bridge.
I wonder what history they have, to be honest. That is true. You kind of faltered on that.
Let's see, the last time we met.
Was La Belle Aurore.
But of course, that was the day the Germans marched into Paris.
Not an easy day to forget.
No.
I remember every detail. The Germans wore gray. You wore blue.
Yes, I put that dress away. When the Germans march out, I'll wear it again.
There's a history there. Definitely a history there.
Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine.
That's from this movie. I know that line. I know that line. I didn't know it was from this movie, guys. I didn't know it was from this movie.
Played it for her, you play it for me.
That's another one. You play it for her, you play it for me. That's another one. I didn't know that was from Casablanca.
Who are you really, and what were you before? What did you do, and what did you think, huh?
We said no questions.
Here's looking at you, kid.
That's another one. Here's looking at you, kid. I didn't know that was in this movie too.
Why there is no other man in my life?
Uh-huh.
That's easy. There was. He's dead.
Nothing can stop them now. Wednesday, Thursday at the latest, they'll be in Paris.
Richard, they'll find out your record. It won't be safe for you here.
I'm on their blacklist already. Their roll of honor.
This sort of takes the sting out of being occupied, doesn't it, Mr. Richard?
I agree. It probably would take this thing out of it, but at the end of the day, you're still being occupied, so.
They say they expect to be in Paris tomorrow. They're telling us how to act when they come marching in. With the whole world crumbling, we picked this time to fall in love.
Yeah, it's pretty bad timing. Where were you, say, 10 years ago?
10 years ago.
I like how he's kind of making a joke in a hard situation.
But be serious, darling. You are in danger and you must leave Paris.
No. We must leave.
Yes, of course, we.
Now, the train from Marseille leaves at 5 o'clock. I'll pick you up at your hotel at 4:30.
No, not at my hotel. I have things to do in the city before I leave. I'll meet you at the station. Kiss me. Kiss me as if it were the last time.
I think that's a famous line, but I'm not sure too. A lot of famous lines in this movie.
But this note came just after you left.
I didn't get that note because I don't read fast, but I'll check it out in the editing.
How long was it we had, honey?
I didn't count the days.
Well, I did. Every one of them. Mostly I remember the last one. The wow finish, a guy standing on a station platform in the rain with a comical look on his face because his insides had been kicked out.
Oh, that kind of hurts me inside a little bit.
Tell me, who was it you left me for? Was it Laszlo, or were there others in between? Or aren't you the kind that tells?
Wow, you can see the tear in her face. I don't know. If she, left him for somebody else or not. But I don't think she did, but it's not uncommon for him to think that, somebody that she left with somebody else or loved somebody else.
You know the leader of the underground movement in Paris, in Prague, in Brussels, in Amsterdam, in Oslo, in Belgrade, in Athens.
Even Berlin.
Yes, even in Berlin. If you will furnish me with their names and their exact whereabouts, you will have your visa in the morning.
I was in a German concentration camp for a year. That's honor enough for a lifetime. If I didn't give them to you in a concentration camp, where you had more persuasive methods at your disposal, I certainly won't give them to you now.
Why did you come back? To tell me why you ran out on me at the railway station?
Yes.
Well, you can tell me now. I'm reasonably sober.
I don't think I will, Rick.
Why not? After all, I got stuck with a railway ticket. I think I'm entitled to know.
Last night I saw what has happened to you. The Rick I knew in Paris, I could tell him he'd understand. But the one who looked at me with such hatred. No, you see, Victor Laszlo is my husband. And was, even when I knew you in Paris.
We've decided, Senor Ferrari. For the present, we'll go on looking for 2 exit visas. Thank you very much.
Well, good luck, but be careful. You know that you're being shadowed?
Of course, it becomes an instinct.
I observe that you, in one respect, are a very fortunate man, monsieur. I move to make one more suggestion. Why, I do not know, because it cannot possibly profit me. Have you heard about Signor Gatti and the letters of transit?
Yes, something.
Those letters were not found on Gatti when they arrested him.
You know where they are?
Not for sure, monsieur. But I'll venture to guess that Ugarte left those letters with Monsieur Rick.
A leader, like Laszlo?
Mm-hmm. I have been thinking. It is too dangerous if you let him go. It may be too dangerous if you let him stay.
So what does that leave for the option? I mean, I would imagine maybe if you kill him, he would actually just become a martyr. So it's like, there's no good option. for them to, they're not sure what they should do.
You are a man. If someone loved you very much, so that your happiness was the only thing that she wanted in the world, and she did a bad thing to make certain of it, could you forgive her?
Nobody ever loved me that much.
And he never knew.
I think she's speaking
and the girl kept
hypothetically.
this bad thing locked in her heart. That would be all right, wouldn't it?
Do you want my advice?
Oh, yes, please.
Go back to Bulgaria.
I said 22.
Marquons les jeux, mesdames et messieurs. Les jeux sont faits, la partie continue. Marquons les jeux. Fini. 22.
Cash it in and don't come back.
Honest? As honest as the day's long.
Honest as the day's long. I think that's either a famous line or that's just a common saying.
As I suspected. You're a rank sentimentalist.
Yeah, why?
Why do you interfere with my little romances?
Put it down as a gesture to love.
Put it down as a suggestion of love.
Friends in the underground tell me that you've quite a record. You ran guns to Ethiopia. You fought against the fascists in Spain.
Yes, I found that a very expensive hobby, too, but...
It's been an expensive hobby.
Must be some reason why you won't let me have them.
There is. I suggested you ask your wife.
Okay. So he does have some sort of grudge because he used to date I forget her name in the movie, but Ingrid, basically.
Can you close me up? On what ground?
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
You're winning, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's funny. No, I'm sorry, but that is funny.
Apparently he has the letters.
Yes, did he give you any reason?
He suggested I ask you.
Ask me.
Yes, he said, ask your wife. I don't know why he said that.
Because of the love triangle that you guys got going on.
When I was in a concentration camp, were you lonely in Paris?
Yes, Victor, I was.
Is there anything you wish to tell me?
No, Victor, there isn't. I know how you feel about me, but I'm asking you to put your feelings aside for something more important. If those days meant anything at all to you.
I wouldn't bring up Paris if I were you. It's poor salesmanship.
Please. If you knew what really happened, if you only knew the truth.
I wouldn't believe you no matter what you told me. You'd say anything now to get what you want. All right, I'll make it easier for you. Go ahead and shoot. You'll be doing me a favor.
He's dead, shot, trying to escape.
Why did you keep your marriage a secret?
It wasn't my secret, Richard. Victor wanted it that way.
So she was married before, and that's why she didn't get on the train when she found out that her husband was still alive. I know I'm recapping it, and I know you guys already know this, but just giving you my thoughts and my process the way I'm doing this.
You'll help him now, Richard, won't you? You have to think for both of us. For all of us.
I really don't know what to think. Don't know what to think about. She's gone back and forth so many times. I just don't know what to think anymore or believe anymore.
A strange circumstance. We both should be in love with the same woman. The first evening I came into this cafe, I knew there was something between you and Ilsa. You won't give me the letters of transit. All right. But I want my wife to be safe. I ask you as a favor to use the letters to take her away from Casablanca.
Now he's got, two sides to help, or two requests, rather.
We have a warrant for your arrest.
On what charge?
Captain Renault will discuss that with you later.
It seems that destiny has taken a hand.
Oh, no, he did kind of set this up.
By any chance, you were to help him to escape?
What makes you think I'd stick my neck out for Laszlo?
Because, one, you bet 10,000 francs he'd escape. Two, you got the letters of transit. Now, don't bother to deny it.
Yes, I have the letters. I intend using them myself.
What friend?
Ilsa Lund. That ought to put your mind at rest about my helping Laszlo escape. It's Laszlo's wife. She probably knows things that Strasser would like to know. I'll arrange to have Laszlo come there to pick up the letters of transit, and that'll give you the criminal grounds on which to make the arrest. You get him, and we get away.
Richard, Victor thinks I'm leaving with him. Haven't you told him?
No, not yet.
But it's all right, isn't it? You were able to arrange everything.
Everything is quite all right.
Rory.
We'll tell him at the airport. The less time to think, the easier for all of us.
Victor Laszlo, you're under arrest. On a charge of accessory to the murder of the couriers from whom these letters were stolen.
Call the airport and let me hear you tell them. And remember, this gun is pointed right at your heart.
This is Captain Reynolds speaking. There were 2 letters of transit for the Lisbon plane. There's to be no trouble about them.
You know what I just thought of? How does he know that? That he actually called the airport. Yeah, he didn't call the airport. He called the police station.
You don't mind, you fill in the names. That'll make it even more official.
You think of everything, don't you?
Inside of us, we both know you belong with Victor. You'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life.
That's another famous line.
No. He's looking at you, kid.
I was willing to shoot Captain Reno, and I'm willing to shoot you. Well, Rick, you're not only a sentimentalist, but you've become a patriot.
Maybe, but it seemed like a good time to start. It doesn't make any difference about our bet. You still owe me 10,000 francs.
And that 10,000 francs should pay our expenses.
That was actually pretty good. I actually like that. I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know anything about Casablanca really, but I actually did like that quite a bit. I guess I should tell you guys, I actually did know a little bit about Casablanca because I did a reaction to when Harry met Sally and they're talking about Casablanca in the car, and Sally mentioned something about Ingrid Bergman getting on a plane, but I had no reference or understanding or comprehension of what that actually meant at the time, because like I said, I didn't have the big picture. I didn't have the context of the actual film or what the film was going to be about. And that kind of slipped my mind up until about midway through the movie. I'm like, oh yeah, Harry Met Sally mentioned Casablanca and that Ingrid gets on the plane, or Lisa, which is the American way to say that. I keep forgetting how to pronounce it in, I guess, French, since Casablanca is in France. But anyway, I did forget to mention that. In case you're wondering, that reaction is on my other PC, and so it's kind of lost on my other PC. I may go back to it and do a actual reaction to When Harry Met Sally, but that's not important. I'm a little bit. I still like Lisa. I'm gonna just say Lisa because that's the only name I can remember. I know that's probably gonna make a lot of people mad, but that's what I'm gonna do. Just because I can't remember the pronunciation of it. Yeah, I don't agree with a lot of her decisions, but I kind of understand them a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. You know, she did what she did because she thought her husband was dead, and it was agreed upon by Victor that the marriage was to remain a secret. Which, again, I can't really fault her for since they both agreed to it. But it had devastating it had devastating repercussions for both parties involved, and later all 3 of them involved. And I think this is why Rick let them go on the plane together instead of him going, because for me, well, for me, but also for him, I think just the logical side of it was, well, she probably never loved me, and she probably only liked me and never actually truly loved me. She she loves Victor, so I'm gonna step aside and be the bigger man, even though I love this woman to death and would be willing to do anything for her. Case in point, the passports to leave Casablanca. So he made a kind of a self-sacrifice um, in doing so. Um, it's kind of sad because we don't get to see the repercussions of that, and we never will. They can, it's been 81 years since this movie came out, and if they were going to make a sequel, they would have done it by now. My part that I don't understand is she lied to her husband about what she was up to when he was in the concentration camp. I don't want to say she had no reason, but she had almost no reason to lie to him about what she was up to in Paris. Because the way I pictured it, that conversation about the marriage thing would have happened before this all went down. So they should have worked out, hey, if I die, I would like you to move on with your life. And that should have been a conversation that they had, which they kind of did, but they kind of didn't have the specifics at least depicted for us to understand what was exactly said in that conversation. If it was me and I was, to die early and stuff like that, I would want my wife to move on and find happiness with another person and not, wallow in misery and, loneliness for the rest of her life. But that's the conversation that I think, that would need to be had. I did not realize how many pop culture references were made in this movie. In all the juice joints in town, in the world, she chose mine. I know I butchered that, but that's a famous line. You played it for her, you can play it for me. That's another one. Here's looking at you, kid. Another one. You'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday, for your entire life, you may regret it at some point. I know I added other stuff onto that, but that's, but I did not realize there were like 4 or 5, lines from this movie that people have still used and is still using today, kind of. Like I said, he says, Anna says the day is long. I think that might have been from this movie, but that's also might be just a common saying because I kind of say it not all the time, but Every once in a while, I'll say it um, in a given conversation. All right, guys, those are my two thoughts after watching Casablanca. Some really good stuff. Some lines actually got me. In fact, I had mentioned that in the reaction itself. The train one, really, I really did feel that. That actually did hurt me quite a bit. I kind of understand Rick's pain a little bit, because I've felt it. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys have any recommendations. All right, guys. I think that covers everything I wanted to cover with those two major topics because those are the most immediate that come to mind. Do consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks, guys.